AlDOT crews have already sprayed all the major roadways with a salty brine. Officer Newman was on his way to help others who'd been involved in an accident. But with the rain coming down and wet roads, he lost control of his patrol car and hit this power pole. The last hit that came from Abernathy's cell phone was from a tower nearby. If you take a teaspoon of pure honey that is locally grown, like this one from Odenville, that it helps relieve allergy symptoms. When inmates are released from prison, many of them don't even have a driver's license. They can't get an apartment, find a job. They don't have the tools to start over. Many grocery stores in Birmingham look like this old food fair in downtown. With closed doors and boarded up windows, they're saving things like baby pictures, and they've even found a little Girl Scout uniform to save for the homeowner. If it hadn't been for the love of her brothers and sisters here, Remedy may not have been found. For those who aren't quite ready for a Marathon 1 but still want to take part and get back, there's the 1 mile fun run, but there's no shame in walking either. October 13th, a classroom is out of control. A teacher does step in, but when one boy is pushed, the situation gets heightened. You can see the teacher stands between the two feuding boys. But after a while, he starts posing for the camera. Then eventually the teacher's hands go up and he walks away. The boy in the red threatens to punch, but the other boy steps in. Punches are thrown and a student is on the ground, left stumbling to even stand up.
They left my son as prey.
Byron Steele is the father of the boy who was hit. He brought this video to Fox 6 upset because he feels the teacher did not take control of the situation.
He leaves my son to defend for himself. He does nothing to stop anything at any time. And my son is assaulted.
From the video, it seems to be that your son is doing a little bit of the antagonizing, the talking.
No, actually, if you watch the video, my son got antagonized after he was pushed and shoved in front of the teacher by the other student. My son did not throw a punch, did not lay his hand on that student at any time. He was struck first. The teacher done nothing after he was struck first.
I think the teacher thought he was going to be able to get the boys to comply.
Irwin High School Principal Van Phillips tells the story a little differently.
I saw the teacher make an attempt to try to get 2 young men to comply with him. They both refused to comply with him. The teacher stood in front of 2 young men to stop them from fighting each other.
He says the teacher was trying to talk the kids out of fighting. And when it comes to the posing...
No, I saw him trying to de-escalate the situation, to try to diffuse the situation. And sometimes you deal with humor. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I believe that was his attempt in that particular environment.
And at the point when he throws his hands up and walks away,
he's going to call the administrator. He said, "You guys are not. I'm going to call."
I asked Phillips why the teacher didn't send a student so that he could stay between the boys.
Well, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. You know, after something happens, you can always know, well, I should have done this after the fact.
But Steele is also upset that his son did not receive any medical attention. After seeing the video, barely able to stand up, Steele doesn't understand why no one told him his son was knocked out.
There was no call for assistance. No, he didn't see the nurse. There was no ambulance call. Not only that, they didn't even let me know when I picked him up that my son had been assaulted and knocked down.
The SROs ended up talking to the young man, and at the time that they talked to the young man, he was very upset. Didn't appear to them that he needed any medical attention. He was trying to get back to the young man to get a punch in.
As for the teacher, Steele would like him to be fired. Right now, he's on administrative leave pending an investigation.
There will be an administrative procedure that we will follow while the teacher's on leave and look into the matter. And I know the school takes this very seriously, as do we.
On record, I don't think that's a fireable offense for the teacher.
This is where my son go to school every day. This is where a lot of kids are at school every day. There's a lot of children that this can affect if it happens again. Whenever your child is involved in an incident where they come up on the short end of the stick, parents have that feeling. 99% of the people who have children at Irwin are very pleased with our progress.
We pulled up today about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and the noise was just incredibly loud. You could not miss this sound. It's pretty much died down now, and some residents say that it actually goes away at night, so who really knows? But to describe it is so hard. It's just this hollow hum. To me, it sounds like when there are lots of ambulances and police cars, sirens off in the distance. Together, it all kind of sounds like one constant hum. But the other weird thing is that at one point in time, it would sound like it's coming from one direction, and then later on it'd sound like it was coming from somewhere else. So this noise just really is a mystery here in McCalla.
It's just a crazy noise. You can hear it, can't you? See, it sounds like it's right down there now.
About a week ago, Charles Kleckler started hearing a strange noise in his Loveless Park neighborhood.
Well, I didn't know. I got to listen to it, and I said, that's a funny noise. And it seemed like it would go and come, get louder, and then ease off a little bit, and then get louder again. But now it's just constant.
It's an obvious buzz, but where it's coming from is unknown. Folks have been searching all through the neighborhood and the woods, but can't seem to find any source.
Well, we went every direction, trying to pinpoint exactly where it's coming from, and we can't do it. You go one place, it sounds back the other way, and you go another place, it sounds back the other way. So it's somewhere in this area right here, but I don't know where.
The Clarklands said the noise started about the same time that their power came back on after the storms. So that's one possible explanation, but there are many, many more.
We might have a UFO sitting there. Locusts. Sounds like a lot of locusts. Like a whir of a helicopter.
Whatever the noise may be, it's a mystery these McCalla residents hope is solved soon. There you have it, any number of explanations floating around out here for this mystery noise. One thing that's for sure, it's been buzzing for more than a week. So these residents are kind of starting to get annoyed with the constant noise. So if there's anyone out there who might know what this is, these residents sure would like to know. For now, live in McCalla, Katie Herrera, Fox 6 News, on your side. This was the Cherry Avenue area of Pratt City last Wednesday. Hundreds of residents in disbelief over their neighborhood. Tuesday, there's an empty quiet in the area. Although power crews are hard at work, the only other action is flapping debris and falling raindrops. For those who didn't make it out here today, what's left behind could very well be ruined. Here's a shirt that's soaked and muddy, and a book that probably never can be read again. But then there's Ethel Harris fighting the rain to pack up what she has left.
I got weak when I got to the end of the street, and I just looked and saw all of the houses gone.
Harris and her husband were in Hawaii when the storms hit. Compared to the rest of Chaucer Street, they feel lucky their home is partially standing.
We were able to salvage a lot of our personal pictures, a lot of personal items that most other people is just under a pile of rubble. So we are truly blessed.
At least y'all can salvage some.
Not so fortunate is Brenda Reynolds, Ethel's next door neighbor.
We was somewhere down up under there.
Her home is simply a pile of pieces, but somehow she and her family survived under the rubble.
Once we pushed up on the walls, it's just like the Lord just lifted the wall.
Now she stops by just to take one final walkthrough of the place she used to call home.
All of this is stuff. Stuff can be replaced, I say, but lives cannot.
This is devastating. We've been living here 37 years, and so the people on the street were like family.
But now that family will most likely be broken apart. In Pratt City, Katie Herrera, Fox 6 News, on your side.